Hello YouTube fans, it's your boy Brad here with another video. Today there's nothing on the table because I'm going to show you a project that I did on the back fence to my house that leads into the alley of how to put a gate where there was no gate for maybe only 50 bucks if you have the same type of picket fence with poles that I have in my backyard. I have a 42-inch riding tractor that was given to me, but I could not get it into the alleyway because the gate going into my alley on my fence was only about 36 inches wide, and it's a 42-inch tractor. So after looking at the fence, I came up with this idea, and I'm going to show you in a moment how that all came together. But first, let me show you all of the parts that you will need to make this happen. I purchased everything that I used from Lowe's. So let's start with the gate locks first. First, I got these gate locks. These are the National Hardware 2 and 5/16 and black gate locks. These are $10 a piece. I decided to use 2 of these, but maybe you can get away with just 1 of these. The next thing you will need is some of these merchant metal bands. Now these are usually used on a wire fence, not a picket fence, but you're going to need some 2 3/8. That was the size of my pipe, the fence posts that are in my backyard. So your fence post might be a different size, so make sure you get the right size bands that you need. Again, these are 2 3/8 galvanized steel brace bands for chain link fences. The next thing you're going to need is a pull handle. Again, this is a little bit optional, but I found that I needed this to be able to move that gate back and forth. This was about $4. You will also need some of these metal merchant 5/16 by 1 1/4 inch galvanized steel screws, and this is for the chain link fence thing also. Now this came in a pack of 20. You probably can go over to the where they have the nuts and the bolts and the screws at and just get 3 of these with 3 nuts, and that's all that you're going to need instead of buying the whole pack, because the whole pack is $10. I just grabbed the $10 pack and ran out the door. So those are all the parts. That's about $50. Again, that's what I used. Let's go outside and let me show you how all of this came together. Well, okay guys, here's the fence line at the back of my house, and right over here is the gate itself. Here's the gate right here. You see the hinges. The normal gate to enter into the alley is only about 3 feet wide, so I can't get my 42-inch lawn tractor to enter through that side and exit through that side. So we open up this gate with the latch on it. Here's the 2 latches. Grab the handle, and we just move this whole thing around, and now we have a large opening which is just under 5 feet. Can get into the alley, mow the alley, and it's all secure. Let's look at how all this hardware comes together to make this happen. So viewing this from the alley side towards the house, the first thing was we have these mollies, these bolts that go into the 3 sections of wood here. So on the side that we wanted to use as an opening, first unbolt this, take all the mollies out, and of course this is the other side. And of course, and I'm just kind of show you down here how all of this looks on just a regular part of fence. There's the fence, and everything's just bolted with these clamps with the 2x4s to the poles. At this section here, the 2x4 actually ended here. You can see it still has the tag on it, so I didn't have to cut through the 2x4s at this point, but I did in the 2x4 on this side, have to cut an angle cut so that the door will actually open. So whatever type saw that you want to use, you need the angle cut all 3 of those sections so that the door will not bind against the other 2x4 and also miss the back of this picket here. Again, it was butting here, so you have to miss the back of this picket. So I took this very first picket off, so they're nailed on, and now you see it's screwed on, but had to take a pry bar and get this first picket off so I can actually work on this section to open it up and do what I need to do with cutting the 2x4s back and making everything work on that side. Once I did that, before I swung the gate, I made sure to put these bands on. Again, you saw these bands. Make sure you get these and put them on. I'll show you real quick. This is a 2 3/8 diameter, so these bands are actually used for a wire fence, and you need a nut kit to mount these on. So in all 3 sections on this swinging side, you need to put a band so that this whole thing here doesn't start to slide down, because you're going to use these as hinges. Okay, these are going to be your hinges for the other side that you're opening up. And you also, once you get these on, you need to loosen, and I'll show you on this one, this bolt, this nut. This loosens up this whole band here, so now that it can actually turn. But make sure you put these bands on first before you loosen these. And you can see I can kind of move it a little bit there before you loosen these. So need to get that loosened. The next thing before you even open it is that you're going to have to cut off a little bit, maybe, of the bottom of the swinging part of the fence. My yard slopes down a little bit from up there, and it kind of slopes down this way. And if you kind of look, there's going to be a little bit of buildup of your yard against the fence. I had to cut off maybe 2 inches, 3 inches, so that can pass and swing out the way I wanted to. It's still dragging a little bit, but I don't want to cut any more of the fence off, because when it's back over here, I don't want a big gap. And if I need to, I put down some bricks or something right there to compensate for that open area. Again, the hardware, I'm gonna close the gate real quick and I'll show you that. Just make sure you do your hardware before you open up your gate. Get your hardware on where you want it to be before you open up your gate, so that when you push it back, it's in the right spot. But I put 2, one up there, one at the bottom down here. Got a 2x4 right here. We got a 2x4 at the bottom and one in the middle. I could have just used one in the middle, but I kind of felt, for security purposes, if you want to call that, I wanted to have it strong at the top and strong at the bottom of the gate, so that if someone's pushing on the gate, see this part here moves a little bit, but most of the, most people aren't going to even notice that you have a joint or you have a opening that could even open. So a lot of people don't even lock their gates, but this makes for, in the area that we live, that the gate is locked. Nobody can get in my backyard and steal anything, because people will steal anything that's not mounted down. And even then, they'll probably steal it. I put a little handle on here so that it's easier to move the gate and pull it open again. And I'm gonna show you this little gap. You see right here is come together. So because of the weight of the gate, it did, lean in a little bit. You know, it has dropped on this side, and there's our pole right here with the, right behind these hinges is our pole. So the gate drops down, has dropped a little bit on this side, but that's fine as long as we keep it mounted here and the hinge and everything's holding. I think everything should work fine. Again, because of the geometry of the gate, you got to make sure to open this first, and it's because of this, and everything's going to bind on this side, so have to open this side first, and then we can open this side, unlatch it, and everything swings out. And you see that one actually slid back that way in this. So guys, I wanted to show you that this is how the gate works. Maybe a cheaper, maybe a without having a contractor come out, maybe something you can do yourself in case you need a wider opening to bring something in through the back of your house into a wider gate type situation and stuff. And it's always something you can, you know, turn around and take back out. I can easily close this gate, put the mollies back in here, and tack everything back down. It still can go right back to the way it was. But I wanted to show you guys that. I hope this helps someone out. Again, if you like what you see on this channel, guys, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you guys have a blessed day.